Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Garden of Blue Roses, an incursion of Trophy Dark. With me, Vico, as your GM, and our lovely players, Kai, Racius, and Avery. Uh, we are now moving into the fourth of five rings. And I want to kill someone today, so we'll see what happens. When we left off, uh, we had left our party in a field of hallucination causing poppies. The two who are human were having a very bad time, and Clock was just kind of along for the ride. Ema attempted to escape the party, but couldn't, and Sybil ranted madly about killing them, but didn't
Yeah.
yet. So we'll see what happens next now as they all wake up from their very bad, very horrible night.
Horrible note day.
All right.
Does Clock sleep?
Does Clock
Not
sleep?
at all.
No,
No.
Clock's just been kind
I
of sitting there all night.
Yep. I think if I remember correctly, Clock, whilst under the influence of the forest, was looking at a way to weaponize or like make something out of the flowers, and it was unsuccessful, but it got me a loss of ruin, and it was kind of evident what was going on as everybody else woke up.
Yes.
Oh, okay. So
Um,
yeah, I imagine Clock probably wouldn't be too concerned with like appearances as folks wake up, so just probably continue doing the mixing and uh, toying around, not really paying attention to what's going on around them.
so I wake up and I guess it's immediate that I don't have my knife, right?
Yeah, you have a stick and not your knife.
Sybil will look at the two of them. Right, you have 5 seconds to give it back.
Clock will
To
look
give
up.
what back?
Ugh, and she throws the stick. Fine, if you don't want, you know, protection from whatever's out here. Think you can use it better than me?
Clock's gonna get up and run to fetch the stick and bring it back, thinking maybe that's what's going on here.
No,
Place it
I
in front
don't.
of Sybil.
No,
Nima's just gonna gesture with the crossbow and shrug, like, I have bigger things to worry about than.
What
all right.
went missing?
A dagger.
Oh,
Are you sure you ever had a
You
dagger in
not
the
being
first
able to
place?
keep track of your stuff seems like a you problem.
kind of timidly, their fingers just kind of like toying in front of them. You were not yourself last night. Is it possible that Nima is correct and you misplaced it?
Little doubt.
I need to check the rules because I feel like there's a rule, or if there's a rule. Um, I'm just gonna
On the table, hopefully.
um, she like her like fingers like twitching, and she's like glancing very paranoid at the two of you, and she's whatever, get this over with. Gonna kick the fire to make sure it's out. And
Let's go.
Buck will stand up, quickly clean up their things, and just stand looking around, waiting for the lead to be taken.
Nima is going to start walking with the crossbow.
There's a moment of hesitation as Clock takes a step after Nima, and then realizes like, oh wait, like normally I follow Sybil, and then it's like, ugh, but things have been kind of odd, so it's like a tug, and then ultimately Clock will continue following Nima at this point.
yeah, Sybil just like
Clock is
squints her eyes and
precious.
follows behind, giving a good distance, like as if she like is like very very paranoid right now, so she's making sure neither of you get too close to her.
Fair enough.
Walk on. The poppies are, because it's still early in the morning, they're closed still. So you don't have to worry about their pollen. And eventually they start to thin out, but only because there's not enough space for them to even grow. The trees undergrowth start to get so close together that it's hard to even see the sky, and there's just no room on the ground for anything else to be growing.
Possible Clock is just gonna shrink even a little smaller, just hug their arms to their chest and try as best as they can not to touch anything.
Just gonna keep moving.
Yeah, I think that's the move.
Sybil from behind will say, it'd be a lot easier to cut through this growth with a sharp object here. It's a shame if any of you have it, not using it.
It's too bad you seem to left too bad you seem to have left your machete at home.
Maybe we might want to keep our voices down.
What, scared something's gonna come at you?
No, scared something's going to come at you.
Is that something you want to happen?
No, that's why I tried to warn you.
She just like glares suspiciously and keeps walking.
You hear, after Clock's warning, a sound that it's a little ambiguous as to what it is. It could be the sound of a tree falling, a large the groaning of a trunk breaking and then crashing into the ground. Or it could be some strange beast's roar.
All right, I guess you're right. Voice is down, I guess. Do we hear a
It's gonna
specific?
pick up the pace.
Yeah. Do we hear a specific direction it's coming from, or is it just sort of amorphous?
It's a bit amorphous.
Okay. I don't know if that's the proper use of the word amorphous, but
It's ambiguous.
there we go.
It's you don't know. The tree trunks all around kind of break up the sound, so you're not really sure where it's coming.
I do want to say that Sybil would probably notice this, given how closely she's keeping an eye on Clock and Nima.
Mhm.
But as Nima's going, she is more than just someone who's a little creeped out by the woods. She is looking around like every noise gets up as she's going forward.
Sybil will like
Would
push
say,
ahead. Yeah. Oh, go
sorry.
ahead. No, you go
I
ahead.
was just gonna. Nothing important. Clock is probably mimicking every single one of those outbursts. Maybe not with like the sound, but like with
Precious.
the hand motions and just like the pause and then.
Oh, sweet sunshine. All right. Sybil's gonna like push ahead from them, and then we'll stop and like look around as if she heard something, and she's like, "Wait, hear that?"
Do we? Or
There's
is this
nothing.
just a? Okay, all right.
I would like to attempt to make a production roll. I'm gonna try and freak Nima out.
Go ahead.
And I the reduction. What's my current? Current rune's 5. Wow. I was cocked. It was a 6, but it was cocked, so I'm rolling it again. A 2. Okay.
Okay. Ema, you're feeling antsier than even your very antsy emotions before Sybil started trying to psych you out.
You think you can defend us better? Fine, here. And I will shove the crossbow at her.
She'll take it.
I'm still not letting on that I have her knife.
Much obliged. Now, shall we? And Sybil will keep walking.
Is Sybil still in the back at this point, or is she taking the lead?
I think she would have taken a lead, I think.
Because the trees are so close together, you did have to do a little bit of an awkward, like, shimmy past the other two, since.
That's true.
But you're in the lead now. And within moments, one of the first things that happens as you're in the lead is you push aside a leafy branch and you come face to face with flowers. Just some normal flowers. They're not like the poppies from earlier. They're some viney plants. Big, white, kind of lily-ish.
Okay.
You look closer. Because there's these weird branches on the plant. And look closer. And they're not branches. It's a rib cage that's being held up against a tree trunk by the vines, by the flowering vines growing through. And then you hear a little and a bird pops its head out and takes off.
I'm gonna reach around and grab a stick.
Do we hear anything else?
I gave up my weapon and I'm regretting it.
You hear some answering calls, but then they sound like they're coming from all around.
Does it sound like it's like stopping? Like is it like overwhelming?
A little, yeah. It's very disjointed. It's not in any particular pattern, and there are points where it gets quieter and points where it's just like a lot of different birds all just yelling at once.
See these? How many of these rib cages do I see? Like how many of these skeletons are there?
Just one rib cage on this tree, but as you move past it to the next, there is a skull that's perched on a. Actually, we're not gonna call it a skull. It is mostly bone, but there's still some fleshly bits stuck to it.
So a head.
Yeah. And there's a bird and perched on top of it, kind of pecking at one of the eyeballs.
For Vico.
What? I missed that, Kai.
I has a question.
Okay.
With my background and skills in myths, does this seem familiar to me at all? Like, as something that would point to me that I'm on the right path? Or is this like, have I heard stories of something similar to this scenario somewhere before?
I would say the something is ringing a bell with you, but it's not the bird. The birds just seem kind of incidental. They're sort of like it's the cruelty of
I was
nature.
thinking like the body parts and the flowering vines.
Oh yeah. Yeah, there's a niggling thought that this is reminding you of something. But you're also so freaked out at the moment that you can't fully remember. It's like when you're in panic mode.
Can I Sybil's gonna like put a hand out towards them and say, "Don't move." And I'm gonna try and cast a ritual. Do a ritual.
Yes.
I'm gonna try and do Shroud, which is as long as they remain motionless, a group of creatures are hidden from other senses.
Go for it.
And my skill in silence
Yes.
play here. Okay, thank you.
Anyone like to offer a devil's bargain to add any more dice?
Would I be able to assist with my skill in obfuscation?
I don't know how assist works in the game, but I'm willing to allow it.
You say how you expose yourself to danger and roll one light die, and then I may include the rolls results when calculating.
All right.
My devil's bargain is that Sybil is successful in shrouding Clock and Nima and thinks that she is also shrouded, but she, for all intents and purposes, just appears to be a lone traveler, very visible on this path.
I do like that one, but I'm not gonna force you to take it.
I know. I'll take it. Yeah, why not?
Great.
All right. So it's another light die.
And you need a dark die because.
You.
And if Nemo wants to assist.
Yeah.
How are you assisting?
So I have a very similar ritual that just applies to me. It's not something that I can do to other people, where I cover my face to remove myself from other senses. So would it be reasonable to say that what Sybil starts to do looks very familiar to me and I can assist by kind of cooperating
Yeah.
with it?
Yeah, that sounds reasonable. So roll.
I'm not sure how much assisting I can do when I'm just standing still, but
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna say if you are assisting in this way, you're kind of putting your energy into the ritual as well. So if Sybil ends up taking on Ruin, you might also take on a bit of a bad hand.
sounds good.
Oh,
I've been trying to die for 3 entire episodes, Fico.
someone will die today.
That sounds like a promise.
So roll a light die, and we'll add it into the pot of results. The hot pot.
So I rolled my highest is a 5.
Is it on a light
It's
die?
on a light die.
No ruin. And you also got a 5. So that doesn't really change the results.
Nope.
I just have to. Okay, you succeed, but there is a complication. So you took Alex's devil's bargain.
Mm-hmm.
So you do manage to shroud Nima and Clock, and you believe yourself to also be shrouded. Or not. And you discover this when. Sorry, I'm thinking about how to describe it. You all hear a noise getting closer. It was somewhat concealed under the bird calls, but now it's clearer. It's a sort of cacophony of branches snapping, footsteps. And this creature kind of lumbers its way through the trees. It doesn't look like it should be moving as gracefully as it is, how big it is and how close the trees are together.
What does it look like?
It looks like an animal skeleton with flowering vines holding it together, acting as muscle.
I mean, Sybil's gonna keep standing still because she thinks she's hidden. So as long as she stays still, the ritual will hold. So
Yeah. It lumbers past, it passes quite close in front of you. Like it's going on a path perpendicular to yours. And you think you're safe as it's passing by. But then it turns head and it looks directly at you. At first, it's hard to tell because it just has these empty eye sockets. So it could be looking at anything. And then two little flames appear in its sockets, and you know instinctively that those are its eyes, and they are trained on you. And it goes, and it bottom jaw kind of creaks open, and then it doesn't move its bottom jaw, but you hear its voice anyway, and it's deep and creaky and ancient, and you're getting closer. Too close. And then it disappears.
Should I make a ruin roll?
Yeah, you should. In fact, all three of you should.
Oh boy.
Is it just one dark die?
You're good?
I'm good.
One from me, and I think I'm currently at 4.
Great. How's Nima?
I rolled a 6.
And so what is your rune at now?
4.
Oh.
Alright. You
Because I reduced it when I stole your knife.
Yeah, that's right.
you have heart palpitations. This has been a bad experience. You have been nervous all morning, and this just made everything worse. We're like so close to a scream breakdown.
After like a solid minute of just standing completely still, Sybil will put her hands down and drop the ritual. You all saw that too, right?
Well, I did, but yes.
That thing could have killed us right away, and it didn't.
Maybe it is a friend. It told us we were close.
Yeah, I'd say we're too close. Sound like a threat for if I've ever heard one.
Nima, you now remember what you were trying to remember earlier. You recognized it wasn't until you saw that creature, because the myths were so vague about what it actually looked like. You recall specifically that the lines were withered yet flowering, or death and life were like the only two descriptions that were used for it. But you recognize that as one of the guardian of the Garden of Blue Roses. And you recall something else connected to that. And just as you are about, just as it comes to mind, and you open your mouth to say something, um a bird, a different color from before. This one is um sort of reddish brown, whereas the bird that had appeared from the rib cage was more of a blue black. It flies past sort of slowly and meanderingly and lands on a branch a little bit above the rib cage, and one of the vines that's in the rib cage shoots out
Mm.
and stabs right through it. And the flowers, from starting from the center to the edges of the petals, start to turn a deep blood red.
All right, we're moving. And so we'll just
And
sort of
that's
take off.
that's what you had remembered, and you had planned to warn the party about that, but you don't need to do that anymore because everyone is quite aware.
As they continue on, Clock is whispering, "This reminds me of a story my father told me once, only much darker and not as nice."
Things in real life aren't always as nice as stories make them out. What was this story anyway?
There was a man who needed a red rose, but all he had was a white one, and so a nightingale pricked herself on the thorns and let her blood turn it red for him, and he was happy because he had the flower, but then the bird died. It is a fairy tale, I think.
Yeah, those can get kind of dark.
Kind of face Ariel setting, because I do want to warn you that as you kind of skirt past this rib cage, you start to notice vines.
Yeah, Sybil's booking it.
Frantic would be my word.
Yeah,
I
frenzied.
am wetting myself, and I am like twitchy as all hell. Like trying to stay as far away from all the vines as possible, like dodging and bobbing and weaving, even though that's clearly not going to help me. I'm like keeping pace with Sybil, getting the fuck out of there.
Hear the sound of rustling leaves behind you.
Not looking behind. Keep going.
Cool, because it's vines and they are pursuing you. They have decided to stop lingering innocently upon their branches and bony planters and have decided to pursue you.
I would like to
Run in.
cast a ritual, or attempt to, please.
Yeah.
If the DM allows it, I would like to cast Clock and slow down time in the area behind us to ideally slow down the vines.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. All right. I'm willing to risk parts of my mind and body because risking parts of them is better than losing all of them to
Right.
plants.
Another
Okay.
dark die.
Excellent, excellent,
Two dark
excellent.
die. Do you have any skills that would apply?
Well, I guess it depends on how loose of a definition I can apply the trap skill. to this particular situation because I'm putting it down directly behind us in the hopes that they will fall into it. I don't know if that counts, but
It
that's
is
the
a
only one that I can
trap.
see.
You are trapping them, but I wouldn't say that it's a trap.
Hmm.
Um, no. But
Okay,
if anyone would
fair
like to
enough.
offer a devil's bargain,
Thinking. I got nothing.
my offer is that
The only one
uh go ahead, Kai.
the only one I can think of is depending on the role, um, clock might also slow themselves down.
I like that one. Mine was similar, but it was that no matter what, by casting this ritual, you have to kind of slow down in order to cast it properly.
Mm.
So they might, either way, they might get separated, at least a little bit further distance between
Yes.
Nima and Sybil. And okay.
Okay. Oh boy. All right. I will take the risk that this could backfire and slow clock down instead.
Get one light die.
Here we go. Okay. Well, my highest was a 4. It was on the light die, but it is only a 4.
It's a mixed success, I think.
Yeah, you do
Right.
succeed in casting this ritual, but as Kai said, you somewhat misjudge the size of the area and you catch yourself in it too.
Oh boy.
And what that looks like to you
R.I.P.
is you still feel like you're moving at the same pace, but all of a sudden, Nima and Sybil seem to be going a lot faster.
Okay. 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 Can I double or nothing here and attempt to cast Unravel and to recast it somewhere else in a better spot?
Yeah!
All right.
Get
Geez. Okay.
a dark
I
die
don't.
because
Yep.
it's a ritual.
Indeed. I don't think any of my skills apply to this one.
And take a
Yeah.
devil's bargain.
Yep. Sure could.
I think depending on how well you roll here, I'll offer the devil's bargain that if you don't roll high enough, you do get caught by the fines. Maybe not necessarily fatally, but you do get hurt.
Okay.
I mean, you don't have blood.
This is true.
Yeah, I imagine clock getting caught by the vines would be a little bit of cat biting candy cane kind of.
I was
You
thinking
still
more
need
like
my
I don't
my
want that.
limbs to
I
do
don't want that.
things. Like I
when
like a
a
toy, I
shark
lose a joint. What were you saying?
when a shark like bites a surfer and they're
Mm.
just the shark is just like immediately, oh,
No.
skinny, don't like that.
Nope.
But unfortunately the shark is so big that their little test nibble is an arm.
Yeah.
Hmm.
But you might roll really well, so we'll see.
I might. Yeah, you have a point. So let's. Oh, ow! Sorry for smacking the microphone. Let's
Get
try
one dark
this.
die and one light die.
Okay. And again, I'll add the risking mind and body here because the alternative is the same but worse. Breathing on them for luck. Jesus Christ. All right, so that's 2 more 4s. One of them on a light die, one of them on a dark die.
What was your ruin at?
My ruin is at 4.
Real quick, check the roll.
I think you're okay.
If it rolled equal to or higher than your highest light die, it counts as a ruin roll, but you have to roll
Higher than
higher
your current
than
ruin.
your current ruin in order, like, to fail the ruin
It
roll.
has
so
to
you're
be
fine.
higher to add to your.
Okay. All right. Still only a mixed success, though, so here come the consequences of my actions.
Yeah. You manage to unravel the spell, and in that brief moment that time returns to normal, some of the vines catch up to you, and how about you describe this? What would Clock lose?
Oh boy. Well, I imagine that as part of casting this particular ritual, there is fiddling with like dials and things on Clock's person. But then also like a direction, like a point, and like, we're casting it over here instead. So as Clock is fiddling with the dials with their left hand and then kind of like reaching over to kind of cast it further back, they extend their arm and the tendrils maybe catch the arm there as it is attempting to relocate this particular time zone. And there's like a moment of plot gets pulled up short. The ritual takes hold, and I mean, Clock realizes like something has to go here, so they kind of fiddle with their own, like frantically fiddling with gears as the vines, like other vines, are beginning to kind of tendril out towards them in slow motion, just twisting knobs and things so then they can wrench the rest of their body free, leaving the arm behind and just one arm in it now as they try to catch up with the rest of the group.
Does Clock have something like analogous to blood? Are they like, do they have like oil or something?
It's a good question. It's it's not something that I have pictured, I don't think, but losing the arm would kind of give a weird look into like Clock's inner workings. So while they don't have blood, now there is a hole like on the box that would be their body, and the strange sound of various tickings and clicks and clacks is louder because now you can see like the inner workings doing their thing. So no blood, but still kind of odd and a little unnerving to see what's going on in there.
I ask, I love that description, but I was asking because I thought it would be kind of fun if, like, as some of the vines descend on this arm that's in their grasp, expecting to, like, eat some blood, they get
Mhm.
an entirely different liquid, and kind of the flowers turn black and the vine kind of shrivels and
Ooh.
dies.
Oh, I do like that imagery. Are there, I think we could make the argument that as Clock is a machine, like a mannequin, there could very well be like an internal component that supplies oil. So it's not like a Tin Man situation where like, oh gosh, I've run out of oil and I have to like refill myself. Like there are parts much like a vehicle maybe that kind of supply that as it goes along. So in wrenching this arm free, then maybe that receptacle was taken out along with it, and as the arm is withdrawn, then yeah, there's this spray of viscous black liquid can go as you described.
It's not many, but it
The
is a
arm is
few.
removed to reveal a complex injection system and
Yeah,
combustion
yeah,
engine.
absolutely, absolutely. Got to keep
They're
those
actually a
gears,
car. Beep beep.
doing their thing. Smart
It's
sounding
one of
things
those
and mechanics.
It's one of those moments where Clock maybe has this realization of, oh, so there kind of is a way to stop them, but it would also probably kill me to like if to get enough oil to stop all of them. Um cool. I'm not gonna mention that to anyone. Because Nima and Sybil do not see this, and Clock running. You should probably make a ruin. Oh, think
That's fair.
losing your arm is horrifying.
Yeah, I
I
would
would
say
agree.
so.
Okay, that is a 3, currently under my ruin of 4.
Clock has
The rolls
bigger
are
things to
middling
worry
today.
about.
Like the fact that they only have one arm now.
Yeah.
Yeah, the shock, a loose approximation of shock has taken hold. So this realization might hit a little bit later. The horror.
Oh,
Boy.
Nima and Sybil, do you notice that you are missing your little buddy?
Absolutely not.
I'm debating because there's two forces pulling Sybil right now. One of them is the feeling of getting the fuck out of Dodge, and the other one is keeping an eye on the two of them in case they try to kill her. So like, I don't know which one is gonna win out. Let me roll.
2 wolves.
Two wolves
inside you.
inside you. um,
Both paranoid.
they're both paranoid as shit. Yeah. She'll look behind.
At first, you see nothing, and you have this moment of shit. The vines got him. And then you see Clock kind of come into view, and you're like, the vines didn't get him. And then you notice the arm missing. Like,
She's gonna slow down for a second and like pull them to catch up with them.
Very well. I do not think we should be here.
No, this ain't the most welcoming place.
remember that sound from earlier?
I sure do.
The sound that could have been a tree, but also could have been a roar.
I certainly do.
You hear it again, and again, and again, and now you're more certain that it's a roar.
Is it getting closer?
Yes. In fact, they're overlapping sounds, so
Oh,
it's
there's
more
multiple.
than one of them.
Oh, wonderful.
Excellent. All
I'd
right.
like to cast a ritual.
Yes. Go right ahead.
I'd like to use mask and use my scarf to cover my face
Okay.
and just disappear from others' senses.
All right. You get a dark die because it's a ritual. Do you have any
I have obfuscation.
that will apply? So you get a light die. Would you like to take a devil's bargain? My offer is that even though your scarf is quite thin, it's also pretty dark in this part of the woods, so in covering your face might trip on something. You're also moving quite fast at the moment.
Yeah, I think if I could offer something,
I'll
I
take
think
it.
yeah. Oh, it's okay if I offer something too? Or
Yeah.
okay. What if
Maybe I'll like yours better. I don't know.
what if no matter what happens, you're gonna get separated from Sybil and Clock?
Which was, it kind of was her goal last episode,
Yeah.
but it might not be her goal now.
I mean,
Trix-
it's Kai's goal, but
Let's kill Nima.
Yes.
it inspires me with a
I think I'm
third.
going to take
Oh,
Vico's.
okay, never
Oh.
mind. Go ahead.
No, but I do want to hear what your idea
awesome.
was.
I want to hear it, though.
It was more kind of cartoony in nature, where it's effective, maybe a little too effective, and as we are catching up, we don't see you go invisible, and it ends up becoming a problem because then we run into you, and now the whole party is just kind of on their asses in a loud and attention drawing kind of tumble.
I like that one. I think I'm still going to take Vico's.
Cool. So, so you get 2 light die and a dark die.
Yep.
Oh.
I assume your dark die was the highest?
My light die were a 1 and a 2, and my dark die
Ooh,
is a
Oh,
you
yeah.
gain
6.
1 point of ruin. You do
Ooh.
succeed in your ritual. Quite well, in fact. Perhaps too well.
Does that put you up to 5, Kai, or are you only at 4 now?
So that puts my ruin
You
at
have
6.
been consumed by your ruin. How do you want this to play out?
It fucking happened. I was. Oh, wow.
I have a suggestion for how this
Oh.
could play out. That you don't need to take. But I think it would be interesting for Nima's character. Unless you have your own idea for what you would like to happen.
Is it okay if I make it's a not super serious suggestion? Is it okay if I make like a kind of a jokey one?
Please make
funny.
all the suggestions.
Please throw it out there.
If you would like will yourself to be invisible so hard that you just like make yourself just erase from existence. You're just like, no one's gonna see me, and then no one ever sees you again. You're just bye-bye.
My first thought was, I lift up the scarf to remove myself from other senses. And then, like, in that very cartoony way, the scarf flutters to the ground, and I'm gone. But
My thought was, because the devil's bargain that you took was that you tripped, even though you're removed from others' senses, you are now tripped on the ground, and the vines pass by you, and then more of these creatures from before pass by you, and several of them are moving quite fast. They're smaller, their flowers are a bit springier, as best you can tell, they look a bit younger, and then the one from before comes kind of lumbering past, and it looks much older, and it's muttering to itself in a strange language. And one of its huge feet kind of steps on you.
Oh.
And it hurts, but it doesn't kill you. It just presses you into the roots and the mud below you. And suddenly, you have this strange understanding. You feel like you're suddenly connected to the forest and the garden and it's amazing. You know so much. you could get tenure from the information you have here because the garden's memory is so long. And there's this perfect moment of scholarly clarity. And then there's too much information. And you are just like,
The end of Kingdom Crystal Skull.
I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah.
You
So,
understand
I like
everything,
that.
and then you understand too much, and you die.
I like that. I think the only thing I want to add is that as the vines come rushing past, her scarf gets snatched away from her. And so one of the vines is just carrying her scarf with it. Like it gets skewered on the vine and it's just carried away, and then she's just becomes one with the
Love that.
forest floor.
I think, because now I have an interesting scene idea where, like, instead of the bone beast accidentally stepping on you, your scarf has already been ripped away, and it just kind of plods to a stop next to you, and it's a skull, so it's kind of always grinning, but Nima suddenly gets the feeling that it's like deliberately grinning at her, and it just whispers something and walks on, and Nima's like eyes go wide, and it's the scene from the end of the Crystal Skull.
Excellent.
Worst Indiana Jones movie. But
Yeah,
I love it.
at least it's not the scene with the ants. Ugh. Oh god, that scene with the ants. Anyway.
Hopefully this
And we
isn't
had
better.
ants in our kitchen over the weekend. Don't talk
worry,
about
I
it.
hate bugs. There's not going to be a bug scene.
That's good.
We already had our bug scene.
When there were butterflies.
Yeah. Exactly 1 hour into this episode, and I have killed our second character.
Yay.
Double clock. You're still running.
Mm-hmm.
Indeed.
She's gonna chance another glance back to see where Nima went.
You see her scarf. And then you see that her scarf is attached to a vine. And it's quite obvious from that moment that she did not escape.
Your dagger's gone forever.
Oh, yeah.
my dagger!
Yeah.
Ooh. Well, at least she gave you the crossbow. At least she did take all of them with her.
I imagine.
Not like it's gonna do us any good against these things, but it's fine. She will just grin a little bit and be like, "That's one problem taken care of," and we'll keep pulling clock along.
You start to realize that you can't run forever. And it doesn't look like these vines are slowing down anymore.
We're still hearing those roars, right?
Yeah.
I would like to chance doing the shroud again, if that's okay. I would like to just like.
You realize that you will have to stay still, and these creatures are just moving on a straight path.
Yeah, I know. No, what she's gonna do? She's gonna pull clock. She's gonna stop, pull clock down like to just like a sudden sharp turn down a different way, and look at them and say, "Stay completely still." I cast it.
Great.
So it's a dark die for a ritual.
Light die for
Silence, right? Okay. Trying to think of any devil's bargains. Like, there's this sudden urge, I think, in seeing clock injured like this, that's sort of pulling at the more human parts of Sybil. And she is going to, I think, what a devil's bargain I would like to offer for myself. Weird, but is that no matter what happens, if anyone gets noticed, it's Sybil, not Clock.
I like that.
Open to other suggestions. That's
I like that one.
like that.
Love the character.
Can I
Thanks for
offer
going through
one?
extra help. Sure, yeah. No, you can't. You're dead.
I wanted to check. What if, depending on how well you roll, you may, because of the way things are moving behind you, you might have to stand there and be still for a lot longer for the vines to kind of pass you by and then come back and go back to their little home nest of bone planters. So you're just kind of like stuck there, still waiting for a while.
I like it. I kind of want to go with the one I suggested, though. Yeah. I feel like that's gonna I feel like the one you suggested guy is gonna happen anyway because we're still gonna be having to stand still while these things pass. So, so it's 3 dice. So yeah, highest roll was a 3.
That's not good.
That's a failure. Yes.
Failure. But it works on Clock.
He's not very good at this shroud thing.
No, it does not work on
What?
you. It does work on Clock.
Okay. So she's. Do I notice this time that it doesn't work on me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Does Clock notice that it doesn't work on Sybil?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Third time's a charm. Could I attempt to unravel and recast it?
Yeah.
It would definitely be a little slower because now instead of being able to twist and point, there would have to be twisting with one hand and then pointing.
If you are moving, you
But
break the shroud, though.
right.
Oh.
Well, I'd be unraveling it to recast it
Yeah.
anyway. Yeah.
Where would you be recasting it? Like onto Sybil or?
Recasting it onto the two of us.
Oh,
in
okay.
the hopes that trying to just get it to work the way that it's intended.
Can I say that I'm helping?
Yeah.
Okay.
Take a dark
Feels
die
like-
for that. And we'll do the body risk, because why not? Can I use my background in mimicry
Yes.
to add a light die? Yay. Wonderful. Okay. And do I have to wait on the result of the help situation?
Oh, I rolled a 1. No help from me.
Okay. All right. Here we go. Ruin 4. 3 dice. Okay. So, in similar fashion to Kai, my highest is a 6, but it is my dark die. So that pushes me up.
Wait, what's your rune at now?
They're at 5.
My rune is now at 5.
Okay.
I got a 6 on the dark, a 5 on the light, a 3 on the dark.
You're still alive. And you
And that's a
managed
good
to
thing.
successfully shroud both yourself and Sybil. And then there's kind of this cartoony scene of the vines just rushing straight past you, and then the bone critters rushing past, and then
Cartoony is not the adjective I would use. Fucking terrifying is something I would describe it as.
And then the big, older, creaky bone creature just kind of slowly brings up the rear.
This isn't a Scooby-Doo chase scene. Like, what do you think it was cartoony for?
Because I thought it was kind of like a Scooby-Doo chase.
Cartoony in a very Princess Mononoke kind of way.
Okay, yeah.
And then you're perfectly still for several minutes, and just when you feel like you're going to have to twitch, see the vines start to reach, and then all silent. The bone creatures don't come back because they don't have to. Vines attached to something. When they gave up the chase, they were acting.
Well, pack it in, folks.
Yeah.
Run it
See my
back.
scarf flutter past as
Oh
the
no.
ends of the vines pass by, and then it's all quiet.
Did the vine snag Nima's fanny pack too? That had the knife in it? And a couple granola bars.
Oh, how fortuitous.
Yeah, but but they can't reach it.
Oh.
It's like in the center of the mass.
I just see
like,
it like my eyes
pack.
my eyes are like, oh, fanny pack.
As it's quieted down and you both take a moment. Ooh, we made it. Notice something that you hadn't noticed before, which is that sort of across the way, across this path that the vines and bone creatures kind of barreled down, trees start to thin out. It was hard to notice before because behind them is more green, but now that everything is quiet and still and you're looking at it, you see that it's a hedge.
Hopefully, like maybe the hedge in the center and not somehow we're leaving the forest.
No, that was
Good
a
hedge.
stone fence. This is
Right.
like
Okay.
the edges of a hedge maze.
Just like Over the Hedge. My favorite anime. Right. She's gonna like look down at clock and say, I owe you one. Okay. She like looks around like, can't believe I'm doing this. Sorry for getting on your case and being all paranoid about shit, but I think we made it.
Rock will look up and take a moment to process this. One, what? An arm? Maybe. I do need one of those.
I ain't the most, tech mechanical person, so I don't know if I can give you that, but like a favor, I guess, if we make it out of here.
Fuck, we'll just start doing that nod that people do. Like, oh, right.
Yeah, sure,
Right.
okay.
Yeah. This is good. This is great. Favor.
We're gonna approach the hedge.
A couple of yards down, that there's a break in the hedge. And that's not what catches your eye. What catches your eye is that towering up above the hedge at the center of the maze. Now tell is what it is. Just the blue roses. first, you have to find your. That is where we're gonna end tonight's episode.
Nice.
You did it. You killed someone.
I did.
Way to go. I was trying really hard.
God, me too. I was like, every time it was like, there was like a moment where I was like, oh, I could do a reduction roll, but I was like, I don't want to do a reduction roll because I want to die.
Somebody kill me.
Success! Finally!
Hopefully, we'll be back with the finale to this next Monday.
Hell yes.
And after that, Queers Guild is going on a bit of a hiatus
Yeah, just for a little bit while we.
because several of our players are experiencing big life changes. So we'll see you later. I mean, we'll see you Monday.
Catch you around.
Happy
Yeah, no,
trails.
Is anything going on with ADHD this week?
That's a great question. We were hoping to do something tomorrow, but we are also going through some major life events, some ours, some other people's, and have decided to save a little bit of driving over what's going to be several weeks of so much driving. So we're gonna be renting a local hotel for an extra day, as opposed to driving down super early the next morning, and not feeling great on chancing hotel Wi-Fi to do a stream. So we are gonna be off this next week at the very least, with hopes to be back the following week with some video game stuff. But that's that that will be a decision to make at the end of this week.
Hmm.
Well, I am glad everyone could join us. I'm a little bit sorry that I had so much fun freaking y'all out tonight. I think that was some of my best work.
It was really good.
Yes. Yeah, I'm enjoying the vibes.
I killed a player.
Yay.
A player character.
You murdered Kai specifically.
Yeah.
Went into their house and just murdered them.
And I think next episode could be fun if it was just Clock and Sybil, but if Moon or Kai would like to introduce a new character,
You can meet them in the maze, be like, how long have you been here? And they're being
yeah,
like,
that would be hilarious too. I'd allow it.
I do have a backup.
Good. I love backups. Someone you meet in a maze.
Be like the Jonas brother in the new Jumanji movie. Been
Sure.
here for 20 years. Yeah, is that a little too far of a reach?
I'm sure it is.
Only because we haven't seen it. So
In that movie.
The new ones are way better than they have any right to be, in my humble opinion.
you heard it here, first, folks. Yeah.
We'll see you next week.
Yeah. See you next week. Thank you so much for joining us. Do you want to say it or should I say it?
Stay happy, stay healthy, stay queer.
Hey.
Good night, folks.
Bye, folks.